All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Manveer Singh on behalf of Extended Disk India and the Sales Capacity Assessment. I welcome you all to this panel discussion. We have with us Dinah from Mexico. We have Jose from Spain. We have Sushil from Mumbai, and we have Asif from Mumbai. Dinah is, of course, representing the Extended Disk franchise and Things franchise in Mexico, and Jose is representing it in Spain. Sushil is the very senior vice president and very old friend and a great lover of extended disk for many years. I think he's done the basic certification, then the advanced certification, then he's done the analyst certification, and now Sushil is itching and inching to wanting to use the sales assessment with his team, and we hope we can enable that soon. Uh, we have brought in Asif as an industry expert. Though Asif has not used extended disk assessments, he's got a fantastic organization which he runs called Learners Conclave, and he's got big dreams, big goals. He's from the sales background. Now he's in training, and he's enabling trainers to do a lot of work to achieve their potential. So we're going to bring in Asif at a different perspective. But what we're going to start with is Jose. Jose, you mentioned to me while we were talking that you had prepared something really special for us in terms of a case study and a
Yeah,
presentation
to
which you'd
start,
like to share with us. So,
yeah, I'm going to share my screen with you. And the idea for you have to habilitate the possibility to screen to
yes,
share my screen with
I
you.
have made you a co-host, so you can share your screen.
Yeah, now yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. The idea of from our side is to try to show you an example of the case of a company that is a retail car selling in Spain who has some kind of problems to adapt it to the new situation of this market. This is a market that now I'm going to tend to explain a little bit more what is happening in this market, because this situation is connecting with the COVID-19 and how they have to manage the new lifestyle, the new situation, and how they are going to try to fight with this situation and adapt to the new salesman's style. Okay. Anyway, let's go with my presentation. Um, okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, this is a case of a company that has, as I said, company who is a retail car selling in Spain. That is a very big company that they have done a pilot with a sales department, about 10 persons. We will show you now only data of 3 persons with maintaining the confidentiality of the names and data and company. Okay. The initial idea is here is why we need a new car salesman. Okay, why these companies need to change the profile of the car salesman. Okay, before the COVID-19, the situation was that the number of visits that one customer done before to buy a car to a dealership is 1.2. This is a data from the NADA. NADA is a National Automobile Dealers Association. This is a statistic. Okay, only 3 or 4 years ago, practically when one person or when a prospect would like to buy a car, normally visit 3-4 dealerships. Only 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago. Now at this moment, when one dealership receives a customer in their facilities, practically only have this opportunity to sell.
Sure.
Yeah. because only some customers come back in the future. Okay,
Right.
this is the most important thing when we start working with that. Okay, it's clearly that the internet contact figures are continually growing in the company. All the
Interesting.
companies have invested a lot of money in their websites in order to get the business online from the customers. Okay. The current conversion rate of leads to sales before the COVID-19, just in 2019, okay, was 4 or 5%. Only 4 or 5% of people that contact with company by internet is transformed in a real sales. Okay, you can imagine that you are losing 95% of them, of these customers.
Correct.
Yeah, and the conversion rate in offline customers who visit the dealerships is normally between 12 to 18%.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And the target for this project was Arif to have the same conversion rate in online and offline customers. Okay. Of course, this situation require a new salesman adapted to these new customer skills. Okay.
Right.
After the COVID-19, the situation is even worse because the question is the customers are going to visit the car to the car dealerships.
Right.
Now they are trying to avoid to visit that. A big part of the actual offline customers is going to transform in online customers.
Sure.
For this reason that COVID has affected to the sales process in all the process, okay, in the test drive, how you have to close the deal, how you have to qualify the customers, how you have to do the first contact. COVID has a very, very big influence now.
Sure.
In this time, okay? Therefore, we need a salesman with a new skills. And this is how we name now the new salesman. This is a salesman 0.0.
Okay.
Yeah? Like an online salesman, okay? Think about it that the customers now have changed a lot because the customers in this market is a customer that have invest every day more and more hours looking for what car they would like to buy.
Sure.
Yeah, and he can do it when they need, where they need, as many times as they want. And after the COVID, even more time they are invested in internet. Yeah,
correct. That is true.
We are now in our house. We try don't go to the street, don't go to the dealerships. Okay, and this as a consequence of this, the population have increased their technological skills a lot.
Very true. Which is happening. Yes. Yes.
This is totally clear. Therefore, the salesman, the new salesman, the salesman 4.0 has the need to adapt to a new sales process, have to develop new skills, more technologically advanced and better communication skills. Think about it that you only have one opportunity.
Very true.
To sell the product, and
very
now
true.
You are not face to face, or when you are face to face, it's through a video call. It's a little bit different when you try to establish a relationship with this customer. If you are face to face or you are in a video call, you don't have physical contact. Okay.
Very true.
As a consequence of that, the salesmen have to develop new works behaviors, have to be present in social media, have to show that is an advanced media skills, media skills. Okay, have to establish the difference between if the customer is a customer that not buy or not buy now, because one
Correct.
of the consequences of this situation is customers is the sales process is more longer than before.
Sure.
Yeah, it's probably when you are in a negotiation with the customers, this customer can stay 1 month or 2 months waiting to take the last decision. Okay.
True.
Of course, these salesmen must be more flexible and adaptable because
nice, yeah.
he's working with a lot of different people, millennial, Zeta, Xer, boomers, and has to be more flexible.
Interesting, very interesting.
After that, when we are in the table speaking with the customer, we say, okay, where we are. The customer say where we are, what we have to do to know how affront this situation, okay? We have a proposal, we did a proposal to our customer, okay? We have one tool that is able to give you information, a lot of information about what kind of salesman do you have now, and
Right.
what will be the gap between the person that you have now and the future salesman, the salesman that we need.
Correct.
Okay, and we use the SCA, sales capacity assessment, to make this assessment. Okay, what is sales capacity assessment? What is that? Okay, this is an assessment of about 99 questions, 25 minutes to answer. Okay, and give a profile of how the man or the salesman think that his profile as a salesman has to be. Yeah.
Right.
With this SCA, with the sales capacity assessment, we have the possibility to create our profile, our ideal profile.
Correct.
You can see it here. Okay.
Yes.
This is only a picture of our administration side.
Yes,
and
I understand.
with the customer, we have maintained a discussion about what should be my profile, my desired profile of a salesman. And we decide that a level of every of the 18 competence. These 18 competences, some customers ask to me, okay, about if it is necessary, the 18 companies, the 18 competence is, my answer is always the same. These 18 competence are totally necessary in all kind of salesman profile.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you.
Another question is what level of every competence we will looking for. Yeah, this is another question. Okay, after that, we have established a main list of what will be the more important competence in this salesman, indeed, in this case for a retail sales card. It's active listening, effective questions, process orientation, sales process control, handling objection, very low score excuse index.
Yes,
we will speak after that about the excuse index. It's not a competence, but it's in my opinion, it's so important than competence.
Correct.
Okay, and of course we need a new technological skills and a very good development communication skills, but we cannot measure this with SCA. Okay,
correct.
We establish a profile, a profile with a radar with our ideal profile.
Yes,
this is the minimum that we need.
Yes.
And after that, we made a study of all the components of the sales department. I'm going to show you 3 persons, okay? Only to show
Sure.
Or how you can use this. Think about that. We, furthermore, to use the SCA, we have been using DISC.
Behavioral analysis, yes.
Why? Because in this radar, in this spider, you can see in red This is our profile, the desired profile, the profile of salesman 4.0. Okay.
Correct.
In rows, this is his natural style.
Oh, nice.
The
Okay.
result of the extended this assessment. And in green, you can see, this is the result of the SCA, sales capacity assessment.
Wow.
And you can see that.
So,
What is the most important thing here? For example, the difference between emotional attachment, money concept, or determined competitiveness between the gap between what we need and what the person is,
very true.
how this person is thinking that his works like an assessment should be.
So this
Yeah.
must have been a very strong eye opener for the customer. I mean, it must have hit them a lot, right?
Yeah, this is a picture, very clear picture.
Correct.
Very
Yeah.
clear picture. But you can see another things. For example, how this person has a very, very good competence, natural competence in building rapport,
Correct.
and how he understands that it's not necessary to apply all the foreign Ds
Right.
and use to the level that we need. This is a voluntary thing that this salesman is doing.
Correct.
Yeah. Or how this person in time management is increasing his competence and modifying his natural style in order to arrive to the needs of the profile. Yeah. This is only an example, but we can see, for example, here handled objections.
Yes.
How our recruitment is very high and his natural style is very low. Yeah, this person needs someone that make a coaching or helps or training about this. Yeah. After to do this, after we have done this with all the department, you can see other results from other persons, but always basically the same. Okay.
Right.
It's very interesting when you can see, for example, one person that have a really, really good skills, natural skills for following sales process, and in this case, his person is understanding or have a grown idea about what will be, what should be his profile, and reduce this natural style to a level that is not good for the profile, for that profile. Yeah. And this question is question that you can solve with a small session of coaching.
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And after this is an excuse index. This is more important for me. Has the same importance than a competence, because if you have, this is a result of all the team.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see that 56, 44 for us, for me, as an experience, and after a long time experience in the sales, I think that the result of the SKUs in this should be less than 55.
Correct. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Less than 35 is a good excuse index.
Here we are very, very close of the good match.
Yes.
Okay. Only one person is too high.
Yeah.
What is excuse index? Excuse index is a procrastination. Okay.
True.
If you have very low, this means that you are able to work even when when one task you don't like it to you.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. This is very, very important. You can see, for example, you have some different reports and
I think the philosophy of the excuse index is that not everybody likes to sell. Not everybody likes to sell all the time. Even those who say they like to sell all the time don't do it all the time. So that's the philosophy of the excuse index, that how likely are you not to do a sales related task when you're supposed to do a sales related task and find something else to do instead. So
Yeah, think
that's
about it.
interesting. Yeah,
If you can imagine if, for example, this team has a level of 50 or 60
yeah,
in a description, that you have to work a lot trying to obtain a good uh, behavior, motivation behavior
sure,
in a workplace.
sure,
Okay,
sure,
okay, you have to invest a lot of effort and money
sure.
in that. Okay,
Very interesting, Jose. Extremely interesting the
what
way you
was
have
the
done it.
conclusion of that?
Yes, of
According
course.
to the SCA results, we should create a different training path.
Yeah,
We know it is because
right,
all the people are different. Normally, when we do some training, or when one customer say, "Okay, I need a training for a sales department," all the people do the same training.
correct,
That the conclusion here is that is not good.
correct. Obviously,
Okay? It's
obviously, it's
better
apparent.
to train every people in what they need.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
Basically, the training, the first level training, because it's a training, the first level is a
Sure.
training that we have to introduce new behaviors
Right,
in new habits
right,
in each person. Okay, should be focused in developing active listening, handling objection, following the sales process, determining competitiveness, and communication skills. Furthermore, in order that to get to a transformational behavior with the salesman, we have trained the sales managers in a leader coach training,
okay.
how to coach the people in order to develop mindset. Yeah, I don't have example of the mindset here, but
No, no,
the
that's fine.
second level after you work with competencies, work with mindset in order to transform the salesman.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's true.
um, and
Amusing,
that,
amazing.
and that's it. It is the result of that was that the sales increased before COVID 8%. Okay, salesmen understand that the customer offline and customer online, both customers was with the same possibilities to buy our product. Okay,
Yep.
sales process is longer now. Is now longer. Yeah, and the salesman has to be patient.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay,
Agreed.
and the salesman be conscious that it's important to follow up development plans, looking for improved sales skills every day, not only one day because you have 8 hours of training.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Uh, COVID-19, COVID-19 is clear that have a big influence now in the situation, and but this pre-war, this assessment that we did use in the last year has been more easily for this person to adapt to the COVID-19 situation.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
okay.
I
It's
think this is a
not a
brilliant
stress
example.
and
Very
not a
brilliant
stress
example.
now. Okay.
Very, very brilliant
Uh,
example, Jose. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is all from my side. Did you have any
Yes.
question?
Yeah, we'll wait for the others to finish. So if you could
Yeah,
just be with us
okay.
for a few more minutes, we'll then have the participants over here if they feel like asking a question. I know the co-host has worked very closely in the automobile industry, and he might be itching to ask you something, but we'll have
Yeah.
to hold for a while. So if you can stop share, then I'll introduce Sushil. I'd like to ask Sushil a few things. Sushil is from the pharma industry, and we've had just had an example from the automobile industry. So now, Sushil, Jose, can you stop the share of your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Done.
Yeah,
Done.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you. Gracias. Sushil,
Yeah.
you have been actively training across the verticals of the organization, and recently you told me you also interacted a lot with the sales teams, and you've
Yeah.
been working very closely with them, especially in this situation. Now, you work with a very, very large pharma company, and we all, I mean, it's one of the top in India, we know that. And you're at a very, very senior position, of course, that also we know. What are some of the key challenges that you are seeing the salespeople face in the pharmaceutical industry, maybe in your company, but in the pharma industry per se? How do you think the organizations should support their sales teams in terms of the competences that are there from the sales capacity assessment? And what do you think is the future? So I've clubbed all my questions, but
Right.
feel free to answer them in whatever sequence you feel like.
Thank you very much, Manvir, for having me here. And the kind of question which you have asked, I think that you have embedded all the questions in one question itself and asked me. So I will answer your question correct the stepwise manner. You see that
Sure.
pre-COVID, pharma industry was running on a very old age business model, and this business model is like that a canned communication will be created based upon the molecule, that stories are given and the resources are given to the sales representative, and they were meeting the doctor face to face, and daily means on an average basis, ranging from the specialist to generalist, they were doing some 8 calls per day to 14 calls per day. And the basis was what, that more number of calls, correct, the chances of business is more. But as soon as this COVID thing has happened, correct, all of a sudden, people were asked not to move out of home because the safety became important for the people and for the organizations also. That business is secondary now. First is the safety, because so many things are associated nowadays. And being social media and other thing in place, correct, a small incidence or a small dissatisfaction with the organization can go viral, and it can
True.
create a kind of, you can say, that a dent on your image. So
Correct.
organizations first kept that in mind, that safety is the first. Now the second thing which has started happening, that within, you can say, pharma being in the essential commodity kind of a thing, correct, which cannot be remained closed like other businesses,
Right.
right? So we all were on, like our productions were on, and in fact the meeting with the customer was only thing, correct, which was not there for the initial 1.5 months period of time. But during that time also, our representatives and the salespeople started getting connected with the customers on call. That is the first this thing which has happened, and WhatsApp was the most prominent, you can say, thing, correct, through which people were getting connected with the customer. Right, and see, in the first 15 days, a lot of WhatsApp message were being thrown to the customer. A lot of webinars have started happening, and we were thinking that a great shift has taken place. But within 15-20 days, correct, we started realizing that we are not the alone company which is doing it.
Ah,
Right, there are some 300 organized companies are there, like
and
Indian pharma. If you see, it is a fragmented, highly fragmented. Some, there are 25,000 manufacturing units are there, but top 300 companies are known as your fully integrated company. Now just imagine about that 300 companies, and each company is having around 20 divisions. 600 divisions are there, isn't it? And across the country, some 1,700 headquarters are there.
wow.
Doctors are limited, that is your 8 lakh doctors, correct, who are there, and each doctor is going to be bombarded by messages, webinars, correct, and within 20 days we started getting message from our customers that we are suffering from the digital fatigue, we are suffering from the webinar fatigue, isn't it? So apart from this webinar and any other thing is there, correct, so you are most welcome to connect with us. And this has started making us to realize that digital is not something which has to be used as it is, it has to be used in a strategic manner,
Correct.
because the 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 basic drawback with the digital was that emotional connect and the human connect was missing, and
True.
that was the biggest, you can say, the flaw. Otherwise it is a wonderful medium for getting connected with the people. And that is where, when we started interacting with our medical representatives, and when slowly this unlockdown starts happening, a survey came in the industry, and we have done our internal survey also, and which is quite matching, is that around is still 57% of healthcare professionals, correct, they prefer to meet medical representatives physically face to face.
Really?
Yes. 43% HCPs are there, correct, they say yes, there has to be some kind of a restriction over there.
This is
But
despite the fact that they keep them waiting and then they, give
yeah,
them 3 seconds to talk or 5 seconds to talk or 8 seconds
yeah,
to talk.
yeah, yeah. And in fact, I'll come to that particular thing, Manvir. And another observation is that pre-COVID time, uh, it was very difficult to get the time from the customer. But the post-COVID, what we have observed, where the relationship was existing for long,
Ah, okay.
those doctors the first people, correct, who have started giving time to the medical representatives. Point number one. Point number two, the discussion start moving from the molecule to product. It has started moving to the well-being of person.
Okay, nice. So the shift has happened.
Yeah, that shift has started means we have started observing it, right? Another aspect is what this is a good aspect which has taken place, right? Another aspect is that when we are in the business, isn't it? It is not only the doctors who are there, but it is in the value chain. If you see, the chemists are also there. At the same time, stockists are also there. So in some of the cases, you see what has happened. These people who were enjoying very good relationship with their HCPs, the stockist, and the chemist, isn't it? All of a sudden, these people said that we don't want to meet you. Whatever you have to say over phone call or through WhatsApp to us. We don't want to meet you. And see, ours is an organization which is highly sales oriented organization,
I
and
know.
people are here for quite long time. Means the average age of the salesperson in our organization is around 7 years. So you can
Wow,
understand the kind of relationship these people are enjoying with the customer.
that's
And this
amazing.
has come as a shock to many of our salespeople. And during our conversation, they said, sir, sometimes we feel like the same customer we were enjoying tea, coffee, snacks whenever we were visiting them. That kind of relationship which we had. But now all of a sudden, because of this COVID, these people have stopped meeting us. They started rejecting us. And this feeling of rejection is actually reducing our self-esteem. So is there
Okay.
something, correct, where you can help us, right, that how to overcome this kind of thing? Second important aspect, Manvir, can you continue,
Yeah,
Manvir?
absolutely, absolutely, no
Yeah.
question.
Second thing, correct. Uh, the difference now I want to bring in. Previously, I talked about the relationship which was existing before. Right now, whenever the question is coming for develop new relationship or the new customer, now building trust digitally or building trust without knowing the customer, and first time you are approaching with a mask, isn't
Yeah.
it, where you cannot show your face to the doctor also, right? So how to develop trust, that is the second thing which has started coming to us, is that during this age, correct, how to develop trust with the customer, because
Yeah, you
until
are
unless the other person sees you, he cannot accept you.
very true,
Right.
very true.
So one of the person in Kerala, correct, he has done a very funny thing. But this is a real life incident. What he has done in Kerala, there is one person, correct, who creates the mask with your half face printed on that mask. So that when you are wearing it, correct, it gives you an impression that you are having a complete face over there.
Okay,
That
so
fellow, you know what he has done for his entire team? He's an area manager. For his entire team, he got those kind of 5 masks, right? And whenever they are now going to the doctor, that becomes actually the icebreaker between the customer and the people over there.
so that's very innovative. In fact, you have spoken so much about the sales assessment unknowingly, Sushil. You have spoken about competitiveness. You've spoken about innovation. You've spoken about so many things. You've mentioned them. In fact, there was a funny line going around town a few weeks back that I never knew that I could wear a mask, walk into a bank, and ask for money, and they'd give it to me. Happily. So that was. But thank you so much, Sushil. I'm going to come back to you for
Yeah,
some thoughts that I have. But
yeah.
what I'd like to do right now is invite Dinah. Dinah has been is joining us from Mexico, and Dinah, I really appreciate you taking out your time so early in the morning. It's almost 7 a.m. in Mexico. So, Dinah, thank you so much for participating with us. Dinah, I'm going to ask you what um, what is happening in Mexico with regard to sales in general, consumer products or any other industry that you're working closely with, and how do you think the sales assessment has worked, helped, supported in helping organizations to understand what is going on at this time, and what do you think are the future trends for sales professionals in Mexico?
Okay. First, thank you, Manbir, for having me here.
My pleasure.
It is a pleasure to be here with all of us.
Yes, thank you.
Well, first, I want to tell you about a little context. Here, the biggest change that we have had in Mexico is that everyone start to worry or focus on their own health and the health of the loved ones. Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to think that 2 months ago, the economy was closed in Mexico City, okay?
Right.
So people start selling masks, sanitizers, gloves, all that things.
Right.
Companies that had a product went online and sell these products by social media, Amazon, all that things, okay? And companies that had a service also went online in social media, but they were doing webinars, trainings, giving a lot of information, but all of this for free, okay?
Okay.
They were building their brand, they were positioning, but all of this was for free, okay?
Good.
So now, at this point, we are reopening our economy, and here is the challenge, because some companies are starting to going back to their offices, and they want the sales representative in the street. That means selling, okay?
Ouch.
For
Okay.
example, pharmaceutical companies, okay? So now, this is the context, and it is important to know it. Now, how can we help them? Okay, you know the sales capacity assessment, all you know. And I think the important thing is to focus on the mindsets. Why the
Lovely.
mindsets?
Okay.
Because the mindset is the potential that you have, okay? So if you have it, okay, it will be probably more easily to do it or quickly to do it. I identified 6 mindsets that are important.
Lovely.
Conquering, hunter, persistent, hunger, next step, and influencing, okay?
Okay.
But I have 3 that for me are the most important, okay? Conquering, hunter, and influencing.
So
And these
conquering,
3,
hunter,
conquering, hunter,
and
and
influencing. Okay.
yes. And these 3 mindsets are the mindset of the competence money concept,
Oh,
okay? Why? Because now we need to start having an income. We need to start selling, okay? So if you have one sales representative person or your team has high scores in these 3 mindset, you will do it that quickly or fastly, okay? Also, the other 3 are important because now it's time to get to the next step. You
correct.
need to make things happen. It's not time to wait.
True.
It's time to start doing different things. And this 6 mindset is the way to do it. So perhaps you are thinking, it is not possible that one person has these 6 mindsets in a high score.
Sure.
Of course. But you need to assess your team, and you need to make sure that you have 4 persons that have high score in Hunter, 4 persons that have score in next steps,
Very
things
good.
like that, because that's the way to do it. Now it's time to make things happen. I think that's the biggest challenge that we need to achieve right now.
I think that's so brilliantly put, Dinah, because we know that the mindsets are at the foundation of the competences, and we know that the competences in isolation, yes, they tell us something, but it's only when you look deeper into the mindsets that you can understand what is influencing what at what level. So I think it's a very, very good position and a stance that you have taken, and I think it's very, very well examined. Thank you so much for that perspective, Dinah. I'm going to come back to you to talk to you on mindsets in a minute. I have Asif waiting, and as I mentioned, Asif is not, he's really not part of the extended disk system as yet. He's not been trained or certified in, but he's running an excellent organization called Trainers Conclave, and he has got, as I said, very huge ambitions, dreams, and he works a lot with trainers very closely to help them to realize their potential. Asif, you have a background in sales, you're into training, and now you're running this venture. All right.
Yes.
What do you think? And I'm going to spin this a little bit for you. I'm going to spin it a little differently for you. What competences do you think trainers need to develop to be able to sell themselves, especially in these times? See, we know what trainers do outside these times. We know that. All right. Some of them are good at business development. Some of them are not good at business development. Some are good at marketing. Some are not good at marketing. But what do they need to do in these times? This is a very, very tough time. you are facing that almost every day on your wall. I can see it on Facebook. People are asking you questions. So what do you think trainers need to do at this point of time in terms of behavioral competences or sales competences, which they can do to promote themselves and sell themselves well?
Thank you so much, Manvir. It's a pleasure to be over here. It's a pleasure. I have 18 years I've spent in pharma, so I've worked in a lot of pharma companies. So
Very good.
hearing Sushil, those memories of pharma memories come up. It's been so. Thank you so much, Sushil, for sharing all these insights. And what happens is, what has happened is after COVID is what. I'll just talk about three things what a trainer should have. One is the agility.
Okay.
Lot of senior trainers actually were doing very well before COVID and doing very well. It was all set for them. But after that COVID came in, a lot of people, they didn't shift it. That agility of moving offline to online, it's still not happened. Very few people have done it.
Correct.
There are people who have not done it, shifting offline to online, that agility of shifting now. And they thought कि अभी आएगा अभी चले जाएगा अभी आएगा चले जाएगा. First 15 days 20 days was like, अभी थोड़ी देर के लिए. Then they realized I have no senior sales people, wondering what's happening. Now they have accepted it. So and hello, I'm audible.
Yeah, you are.
Agility is one aspect of
Okay.
learning different tools and techniques, and one. Second, I talk about resilience. A lot of challenges what people will face in terms of they're reaching out to clients, when they're talking to clients and all that. So clients have their own mindset, and they will face a lot of rejections, fear of failures, or what Sushil spoke about. So being resilient and looking at opportunity areas. Looking at there are 195 countries in this world. India is one country with 135 crore people. So what are the opportunity areas rather than looking at all the challenges? One is that resilience mindset, and third, being into this training industry, the service mindset. Understanding that you are here to serve. You are here to serve. If you have these three things. One, agility, which I spoke about, shifting offline. Second is the resilience. And third is the service mindset. If we are here to serve people regarding the challenges, then I think so you are on your way to success.
Yeah, I think in a way you're saying what Diana just said a short while back. Being a hunter, being conquering, and have that spirit. That yes, life has given me lemons. Now, should I make lemonade or should I just sit and count what do the lemons look like? What is the color of the lemon? Why lemons? Why not mangoes? Why oranges? And it's ironical that you mentioned resilience, because I was talking to Sushil a little earlier, and Sushil mentioned about resilience. Sushil, if you remember, our conversation was about resilience and how that can be brought out through the report. Okay, Yashwant Mishra has made a point that growth mindset focuses on what is possible, when fixed mindset focuses on what are hindrances. Good insight. Yes, Yashwant, there is this growth mindset versus fixed mindset. There's a different school of thought that talks about these things. However, the sales capacity assessment that we have has got a series of mindsets. We've got our own theory. We've got our own model, which talks about competences, which talks about mindsets, and there is a whole interesting pattern that links between the mindsets and the competences. And if at some point of time you do get a chance to explore this relationship, either through a self-assessment, or if you're a trainer or you're working to build a market, you would be very, very interested to know how these link up. And then finally, like Jose mentioned, how you can even connect them to the Exxenadis behavioral analysis and get a very, very comprehensive 360 kind of a picture about what is the behavioral profile of the person, what is the mindset, what is the competence, and it's really very, very, very interesting. All right, Jose, I want to come back to you for a question which I would like to ask you. You spoke about the auto industry and you spoke about the project that you had done, and are you tracking that right now during these times also?
No, we have not made a tracking about making or measuring competence. Now that the tracking that we have done is we have created KPIs.
Okay.
and we are comparing KPIs from before COVID, and we are comparing KPIs from 2019 after the trainings, and now after the COVID. Yeah, but the KPIs after the COVID, we don't have it yet, because in reality, the sales cars dealership has opened and used 50 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so it'll take some time.
The question is, I have been speaking with them 2 days ago, and it's true that they are having better adaptation now, because they have been training before.
Correct.
Yeah. And they are less stressed with the situation of COVID in order to try to sell, because we can say that they have been working online or trying to sell online during the second half of 2018 as well. Yeah.
Yes, because a lot of virtual car expos have come up. At least in India, we are seeing that people have started putting up their vehicles in terms of on virtual platforms, and then they're doing the 360-degree view. They're allowing you to drive along the car, and they're doing all that. A lot of that is happening. So I was wondering, is any of that happened over there, or?
Sorry, I don't understand you, Mabia.
Okay, so what a lot of automobile organizations have done is that they have taken their vehicles, the new vehicles that they're launching or the ones that they have, and they've put them on virtual digital platforms, and they have allowed the customer to feel like, how you can open the door yourself, you can get into the car. So they use some kind of animation, and they use some kind of digital interventions to make the experience more personalized for the customer, even though he's sitting in the house.
Yeah, think about one thing. Is normally when in Spain, the structure in Spain of car retail selling is normally it's not the company who sells. For example, Nissan. It's not Nissan who is selling this car.
Yep.
It's the company that have the franchise of Nissan who is selling.
Okay.
And we have here a dichotomy, because Nissan is making these kind of things in the web, but it's not Nissan who sells.
I understand.
Who sells is another company. Okay. And this company, I know they are trying to create videos, they are trying to create or to use Facebook Live or Instagram Live in order to show new concept, new car, or some kind of offers, or some kind of sales, or if they have some special days where they do a special discounts or a special sales conditions, and they try to do as much funny as they can, in order to get the attention of the people.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's quite difficult. Think about it, that in this situation, the customer is learning to buy the car not in your city. Now you can buy the car in Sevilla or in Paris.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
true.
I can contact with them, and people send to you the car free of charge. Even last year, SEAT is a brand, Spanish brand, has sold the first car by Amazon.
By Amazon?
By Amazon.
Wow, yeah. That's interesting.
This is clearly how will be the future of salesmen.
Sure.
Yeah, of how people are going to obtain their products.
Sure.
For example, I am a real example of one person that buy a car by internet without test drive. Yeah.
Okay.
I have bought my last car without testing, without go to the dealership, because
wow.
At that moment I have another question more important for me, that what kind of car I'm going to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate more my time
Yeah,
or
sure.
another things. Okay, I have contact by internet with the brand. I say, okay, I need this card. I have this money. I would like in this color with this engine. And they say to me, okay, your car will be in 2 months. Okay, where I have to pay? Nothing more. Yeah, this is or
Wow.
now you buy something for your home. The first thing that you do is looking for in internet. What is the offer? Where can I find this product? What kind of products I can find? What is the price? What is the different price between the different um,
Yeah.
sellers in the market? Internet is now our dictionary.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
know
you
that.
can find all kind of things there, and it's
Yeah.
very easy because you have not to move. You don't have to invest energy. You have to take the car, go to the 20 kilometers so far from your home. Not it's very easy. Yeah,
Sure.
and the salesman have to be prepared if they would like to maintain
Sure.
the market share or the image. They have to adapt to this. Yeah.
Sure.
I think that the COVID-19 is only an accelerator of this.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people are saying that this was going to happen anyway in the future. The situation has just about brought it closer than we had imagined.
Yeah.
Sushil, do you think this is going to affect the way the pharma business will be done in the future, or do you think that the pharma business will continue to have a balance between the meat and not meat? And
Yeah, Manvir, see, point is quite valid because see now the business model which I was talking earlier,
yeah,
correct? We have started seeing some kind of change over there. Like for example, now online pharmacies were never the part of the big business. Now
right,
during this 3 or 4 months period of time, correct, there is a surge in terms of that online ordering which is there. Now
right,
many companies have started now in a nascent stage. They
right,
started thinking about, okay, if this distribution model changes,
right,
definitely it is going to have an impact on the business.
right,
Right. Number two point, correct. Like when I was talking to you about that 57% doctor, they still prefer people to meet face to face. Correct.
right,
There, one very important thing which is coming is there that the quality of communication, right? That is now going to take a major shift over there.
right,
Like a lot of digital communication will come into the picture.
right,
Correct. Second thing, this is also regarding those 43% of the doctor, correct, who are not ready to meet people face to face. In fact, I do not know that how many of you are aware about this teleconsultation guidelines,
yes,
correct, which were changed by Indian government on 25th of March, and then another amendment which has come on 12th of May. Right. Some of the companies like this Alchem Laboratories Limited, where I am working, is quite a progressive company. So we have now started creating Connect to Clinic, a differentiated platform for the doctors,
lovely,
isn't it? Where they can call upon their patients because patient is not also able to come to see the doctor face to face. That is
right,
also being affected.
right,
Right. Now, just as an organization to tell the doctor who is our prime customer and the doctor's customers are the patients, right? Now, to give a feeling and confidence to the doctor that we are doing something for you.
right,
So, without any subscription fee, but giving all the micro cost of the virtual clinic, we are providing, just a minute, we are providing free of cost this platform to the doctors so that
amazing,
they can see their patients there on teleconsultation, and then means the all the things will be done over there. Not only that, it is also going to create a lot of content for the doctors also. Like for example, when you're going to an orthopedician, now orthopedician has to explain that if this particular bone is having some problem, so they are using some kind of models to show you. Right.
correct,
Now, this is going to have the virtual models over there where the doctor can sit at a place and he can show the patient by giving a 3D impact over there.
wow,
This is where the things are there. Now, the
wow,
important point where I'm coming from the salesperson point of view.
yeah,
Now you see this platform needs to be taken to the doctor, isn't it? Somebody has to be
yeah,
there, correct,
sure,
who should go and explain this to the doctor. And 3 months period of time, Manvir, correct, you will be happy to know that we have trained all our sales managers who are 1500 in number, correct, that how to take this
Amazing.
platform and convince your doctor to onboard on that platform.
Very good. Excellent.
And till now, correct, in 3 months period of time, almost 15,000 doctors have been onboarded on this platform.
Sushil, so when you
And
say
that is
when you say you've trained 1,500 doctors, I think I should pat your back because you're heading all these initiatives. I know it.
no,
All right,
no,
good stuff.
everybody, this is teamwork
I
basically,
know, I
Manvir.
know,
And
I know.
yeah, and I tell you, correct, this brings to a very important point, like what Jose was also talking about and Diana was also saying, that one of the most important thing, which Asif has also mentioned, that agility, but agility for which particular thing, that is also important. Agility towards that digital skills is important, because now I would like to quote Alvin Toffler over here, correct, that the new, this 21st century's illiterate will be those people, correct, who cannot unlearn and learn the new things. Now this
Absolutely.
learning and unlearning cycle will be accelerated, and maybe that a new digital skill has come within 3 months period of time, correct, it is going to be off the shelf. A new thing will come because people are experimenting now. So a
Correct.
lot of new, you can say, technology will start coming in over here.
Sure. Very well said, Sushil. And I'm really happy to know of these initiatives that you're doing. I'm really, really impressed. I think the sales capacity assessment will also help now when you use it with your sales managers, no, Sushil? It will help
Yeah,
you to get a very good perspective of some of these things that we've spoken about. All right,
yeah,
quickly. Asif, I'm going to ask you a question, Asif, before I leave it open. We have a few minutes before I can leave it open to the participants in case they'd like to ask anything. Um, Asif, uh, do you think the business development method is going to change for trainers?
Mm, yeah, of course, it's going to change in terms of their digital presence. A lot of digital presence. Now, what happens is people check your website, people check your LinkedIn, people check your Facebook, people check all your digital presence before even the companies which we work for. Now, recently, I was working with a company, and they wanted a person, a trainer on diversity and inclusion. And this Jared, she's a very good friend of mine, and I knew a trainer who works for diversity and inclusion, and she's been working for a lot number of years. And I told her, okay, yeah, she's good. Then, no, I said, but then digitally she's not. I can't see her anywhere. I can't. I said, I know her. I've been working with her for a long time, so I know very well. Okay, she's good, but so nowadays, but even if you are good, and then she uh, worked on it just because she knew me very well, and the kind of marketplace, maybe people listen to me or they understand me. So a lot of senior people, they don't have their digital presence. So
I
of
know.
course it's going to average. In this case, I was the person who was taking the this thing, taking the responsibility. But not everywhere there will be a person who will take the responsibility.
Sure,
Responsibility. It's
sure.
always that thing is going to change. A lot of
Yeah.
people will come on digital and show their presence to the world.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
I
what I.
completely agree with you because a few days back I was talking to a very senior coach and trainer, and he was asking me how can I change my business to a customer pull and instead of me push. I said, what is your digital presence? And he said, very little. I said, that's where your mistake is. I'm sorry to say, you're a senior coach and you're a trainer and everything, but please build an ecosystem. Please build your environment. Please build your complete system around you that will help you. And maybe he realized it, I think. Okay, Tina, one last question before we throw it open to the participants in case they'd like to ask you. You very, very beautifully mentioned about the mindsets. Okay, and you say that the companies are now wanting people to go out and start selling, and you say that these are the mindsets that will help them. Are companies being able to provide the support to the people to do this kind of thing, or they just want the result?
I don't know, but
Okay.
we will be happy to help them to do
Yes,
it.
I know, I know.
Companies are starting to open the budget. So it's kind of difficult, but it should be.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Always the balance between should you get the business first before I can support you, or should I support you first so that you can get the business? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Always
Yes.
that little thing. All right. So we have a few minutes, and I'm going to allow the participants to ask Questions, if they have any questions, please raise your hand. We will unmute, use the reactions button to raise your hand. I have a co-host, Dipan. Would you like to ask anything to anybody?
Sure. In fact, I was thinking about first of all, thank you for this opportunity, Manvir. I'm thinking about what Sushil was saying. Sushil, you mentioned some very interesting things. What I was thinking about and what was going on through my mind is, once this this thing settles in, the post-COVID, or as we say, during the COVID effect. Do you foresee anything we will change in the pharma industry in terms of what competencies we will recruit for? Do you foresee any changes in terms of how we will recruit? Because some competencies might change. You mentioned about the various platforms and how they connect to the customers. So, what changes do you foresee? In terms of how many? Do you see any changes in the number of people will recruit? Will that go down or something?
Yeah. Thank you, Dipan, for asking this question. You see that basic fundamental competencies will not change drastically, but there will be one or two additions into those competencies. Like first addition, which I am foreseeing is number one, that is the resiliency skill will become very important, because in 3.5 months period of time we have seen even the best of the performers, correct, they become panicky when they are not getting to see the customer or sell anything. Right. Number two is that the psychological safety also becomes a very, very important competency nowadays, correct, which organization need to look for, right, before taking a person, and especially the job which are high pressure oriented, and sales is a high pressure oriented game. Right. Number third one is that how quickly you are able to build trust and able to sustain even when you are not there. This is one competency, correct, which is going to be, these are the three things, correct, Deepan, as far as I see my industry, are going to be the game changers.
Amazing. Okay, so developing trust, we have resiliency in terms of determined competitiveness. We have already in the sales capacity assessment. We can measure those. Psychological safety, I think we can use the behavioral assessment to try and get some kind of psychological profile and stress indicators to see how the person will respond to the situation. I think we could do that. So we should be able to combine the two. Sushil, you and me will talk after this, and we'll see how we can solve your problem immediately. All right. I have a sale coming up. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, Manvir, I would like to also add one more thing. What Deepan has asked further to that, your Deepan. This I have asked. This I have shared from the point of view of that frontline salespeople, isn't it? From the managerial side, isn't it? Two most important thing has to be added. That is that real meaning of empathy, not the theoretical aspect of empathy, isn't it? The real meaning of empathy, when I'm saying, isn't it, it is not only going inside the shoes the way he feels, isn't it, but the kind of response he accepts, that response has to come from the manager. Number two, that the coaching skill and coaching conversations will become very important, because nowadays you will see that for any industry have identified one very important thing over here, that for 1 hour meeting you need not travel 1,000 kilometers, because now things have started happening digitally.
True. True.
Right. So how to conduct these digital meetings, and how to become so proficient in coaching people that when you're not with the person and not having any kind of physical connect with the person, then also you will be able to give him the sense of that trust over him,
Very true.
and finding out that actionables from him.
Very good. Excellent.
That is the
Excellent.
coaching.
Very good. Any other
So there
questions
is also a
from?
market for coaches and coach trainers now.
Yeah,
Yes,
lot
Mr.
scope, lot of
Vaishnav.
scope is there, actually.
Yes, Mr. Vaishnav. Yes, Mr. Vaishnav.
Just getting to know. Yeah.
Yes, yes, of course. Right. Okay. Um, sure, there is. Any other questions? If you don't have any other questions, then I would like.
I think Gauri is raising her hand.
Gauri, have you raised your hand, or she's just wanting to ask?
Raised my hand.
Sorry?
Okay. I said I've raised my hand, not erased it completely.
Okay, all right. Raised it. Okay, Gauri.
So we are talking about digitization and how sales are happening online and so on and so forth, which is kind of the future, right? So how does one get to the effective questioning part of the competencies? Because that would be difficult if we are doing digital marketing and digital sales. So how do we get across to so many people that in a one-to-one interaction, effective questioning is possible? So how does that change the game is what I would like to know. Earlier there were geographical barriers for a whole lot of stuff. Say for training, for instance. Okay. Now there is no geographical barrier. I can sit in Mumbai and take training in whichever part of the country I wish, of the world that I wish to. So how does this kind of connect come through?
Gauri, is this question addressed to anybody in particular or to me, or can anybody answer it? Or Sushil, I think is itching to answer it. Sushil, please go ahead.
Yeah. In fact, Gauri, when you are asking about this questioning skill, and just before this conversation, Deepan was just talking about that coaching aspect, that there is a lot of market for the coaches. I tell you that coaching is all about effective questioning, right? That is one aspect of it. And second one, when there is no geographical, you can say, boundaries are there, the person who is asking question needs to be aware about the culture nuances of those countries also. Otherwise, a good question, what is a good question for me, when I'm framing it, I'm seeing it from my cultural perspective, because I'm saying it from experience, because I have been conducting the training for 15 countries, and in this last 3.5 months, correct, I have conducted around digital this your leadership program for 5 countries like Kenya, Philippines, Kazakhstan, and all these countries, correct. There I have experienced this thing, correct, where I was thinking is a great question, isn't it, another person is taking it offensively.
Right. The culture at that point of time.
Gauri, we lost you. Can you say that again?
I said, yeah, the cultural fit is important.
Yeah,
Yes.
the cultural context has to be established, and if you're looking at countries, if you're going as far as countries, but even if you're looking within the geography of India and you're wanting to do something in India, there are a lot of things that you may need to take into consideration before you're doing the selling part of it. Like you said, effective questioning or questioning effectiveness would come into play much later on. It would be part of a strategy that you have already built in terms of what kind of markets are you going to address, who are your customers. So suppose I am working exclusively with SMEs, suppose that is my target market and I want to work and I'm focusing I'm saying that the next 1 month or 2 months of my activity or 3 months of my activity is going to be built, I'm going to be building only SME businesses. I have to then try and understand what are SMEs, who are SMEs, what kind of SMEs am I going to be working with, and then I start my target marketing towards SMEs. And then I'm prepared. I have made my game plan. I have prepared myself in terms of the end result. Not only am I doing some kind of an activity to reach out to people, but I also know what I want to achieve from that activity in terms of conversions. So I have actually built. I take a storyboard. I write down everything on my storyboard. I prepare myself in terms of what my market is, who I'm going to reach, how am I going to communicate. I mean, many people are prepared for failure. I am going to write, and I know everybody is going to say no. And then somebody says yes, you don't know what to do next. Then you say, oops, why is this guy said yes? What's wrong with him? What do I do next? So that's where people who fail to plan to fail, right? So my suggestion would be to take a storyboard, write out what am I going to do, and in this time it is very easy to get distracted by everything that is available on the internet. Anybody who's focused, there's too much available. Anybody who's focused and who knows what he's going to do, where he's going to approach, will have a far better niche positioning, a far better way to convert that niche positioning. And you can always use references of one case study with another example, with another customer. You can always do that. And that builds credibility. That builds specialty, that builds credibility. Maybe after 2 years of doing that, you may feel that you want to switch to something else. But my suggestion would be, it's just an example. SMEs, it could be MSMEs, it could be anything that you're working with. Is the question answered, Gauri? Gauri, your network is low.
Thank you so very much.
I'm assuming that. So
yeah. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay. You're welcome. So, question to Dinah and Jose. Would the SCA report interpretation be different now post COVID-19? This is from Preeta. Preeta is she's been one of our panelists on the last thing. She's certified in the sales assessment. She's using it with her customers. And Preeta asked this question to Diana and Jose. Would the SCA report interpretation be different now during the COVID-19? Jose and Diana.
Okay. I think that the interpretation is the same, but you have to be more focused in, from my point of view, in the mindset and the excuse index also. So the focus is change, but not the interpretation.
Yes, I agree.
I
agree.
In your opinion, now we have about the any kind of assessment, any kind of sales assessment, we have to take care because people is not isolated. People is receiving inputs, and when you are answering or answering question about you, your mood, your behavior at this moment can influence in the answer of the questions. I think it's probably it's more important in this, for example, than in this SCA. The stress that this situation can influence, can impact in your answers. Okay, I think we have to take care about that because we have made some kind of assessment of things that are working remote, and we have find a lot of profiles stressed or with small problems of insecurity or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, if you take care about that, the interpretation is the same before and now. And you have to think that, from my opinion, SCA have two levels of work.
Correct.
You work with competence and work in that we say the first level of training, when you train only new habits, new behaviors, work behaviors to implement in one person, or when you work with the mindset. When you work with the mindset, you are thinking about a transformational situation. It's a long-term situation, but the changes in the person will be more stable and will be more deeper. Yeah, and this is for me or my opinion about the CA and how this situation can impact now in the assessment.
If I could just add to this, Preeta, I think what the interpretation will not change. Maybe the way in which, like Sushil just mentioned, what kind of response does the person want to hear? I mean, we'll have to be a little bit more deliberate in the empathy part, in the way in which, you can say something to people in a classroom and have a discussion, and we'll have to be a little bit more deliberate about the way we say it on a digital platform. Yesterday, I was responding to somebody's WhatsApp, and the person relayed some messages that he sent to me from 3 days back. And I quickly typed, "I've read those." And then I realized what I had said, because it may not have gone to him the way I wanted to say it. I could have said it to him on a face-to-face basis. So I had to quickly, put a smiley and something else and just make it seem as if, it was a humorous kind of a thing. But you don't always get a chance to do that. And that's a relationship. I know that if I slip a little bit, that person would be accepting enough to, take it in that spirit. But we can't do that with a stakeholder. We can't do that with the interpretation. Preeta, is your question answered?
Yes, Manvir, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Preeta. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we could if there are no more questions, I would like to thank the panel very much. Diana, thank you very much for getting up so early in the morning at 7 o'clock Mexico time to be with us. Really, really appreciate. Jose, I know you're on vacation and you've chosen to be with us.
Yeah.
And please enjoy the rest of your vacation, and brilliant case that you shared with us. Sushil, you've had a very, very busy day. Already attended one webinar in the morning, a very exhausting one, I can assume, and you still found time for us. Really appreciate. Asif, your workload, I'm sure, just keeps piling up. You get up at 5 in the morning and work till midnight, but thank you so much for being with us, and for all the participants who joined us. Been a pleasure talking to the panel. Loved your questions. Look forward to seeing you. I'll post this video soon and share the link with everybody. So good day, have a good evening, stay home, stay safe, happy selling. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Deepan.
you,
Thank
sir.
you
Thank you,
for
Manvi.
stepping in at the last minute and being there. Deepan, thank you. Appreciate that.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manvi.
Bye.